What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Ghouls Gaming and Tech channel. Now I have a serious question for you guys. I'm trying to kind of make a decision and I'm pretty much at a standstill and I'm not sure exactly what I should do about it. So I figured to make this video to kind of help me think through the process and maybe have you guys help me out as well in the comments down below. Basically, now that all the hype is over, everyone doing their reviews left and right 3 days after they get the phone, 1 week after they get the phone, I really and truly want to know, is the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max any good? Because from what I understand, from the 13 all the way until the 16, the base of the phone was pretty much the same. Now we do have some AI elements added into that, but this is the first time the phone's aesthetics have changed, and I'm not gonna lie, they caught my attention. I'm actually interested in how it looks. I like the two-tone design of everything, but I needed to check myself to make sure, am I just building up because of the hype? Like, is the hype around this phone making me more inclined to want it? Or is it truly, genuinely a better phone overall? Now, just to give you guys a reference point, the last iPhone I had was the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I also have the Galaxy S25 Ultra. So obviously that's a brand new phone. It just came out this year and it's very good for Samsung. It's one of their flagships. So on Apple's end, I want to know, is it worth me trading in my 14 Pro Max? We're actually going to go through a pros and cons list, and you guys are going to help me kind of walk my brain through this. I do like the way the look of it, and for some reason I keep coming back to researching about this phone, finding out everything I can because I like the way it looks, and I don't know why, but I really want this phone. But I'm trying to check myself to make sure, am I just, going off the hype? I don't know. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're new or returning, make sure to hit that like button. It's definitely appreciated. It's the best way that I and YouTube knows you guys enjoy these type of videos. And also, if you would like to become a member, feel free to do so. So we're going to go tit for tat. Basically, we're going to speak about a pro and then we're going to speak about a con. I don't want to just give them straight pros first and then straight cons because I don't want it to kind of seem like it's unfair. So for everyone, I'm gonna try to combat the other. All right, so the first one we're gonna get on, the first pro we're gonna get on, is obviously it has the best in-class chip with the A19 chip. Just improves overall performance, and you obviously have, great RAM when it comes to this phone. Obviously the chip's going to be new with whatever phone they put out, so is that saying a lot? I'm not too sure, but it does have Apple's newest, latest and greatest chip. Now a con is it has a higher starting price than normal than the previous version because whatever reason Apple wanted to charge $100 extra for this phone. I don't know if the $100 extra they're charging is actually worth what they're charging, so I don't know. So the next pro is obviously now they have that triple 48 megapixel cameras with 8x zoom. In my personal opinion, the iPhones have pretty much the best cameras on the market. You can shoot great cinematic type videos and pictures, great portrait pictures on these cameras, so I'm a huge fan of the cameras. But another con is this aluminum design, this aluminum frame. Obviously you guys know by now the whole scratch gate thing. I take that with a grain of salt because I don't see many people walking around with their phone outside of a case, so that kind of null and voids that argument, but it's still there. Sometimes I do like to rock my phone without a case, so it could be something I run into, but not too often. And also additionally onto that, I do usually like the titanium build that they've been going with lately. But this new phone just reminds me of like the iPhone 6 and 7 when they had that aluminum frame. It looks more like that. All right, the next pro is obviously you have very long battery life, especially if you're using the Pro Max. I've done tons and tons of research and watched a lot of people's videos, and no one has ever said that they've had an issue with battery life. So it looks like this phone lasts all day and some with moderate amount of use. Now, obviously, if you're a super heavy user, obviously that stuff can vary. With that being said, the con is it's slightly heavier than normal and it's a thicker design than previous. And I know they have that vapor chamber now to kind of help with heat dispersion, but you can't deny the phone is a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker than normal. All right, next pro is the 3000 nit display. From what I've seen, this phone is very bright, and also in the daylight you aren't losing any details in your display as far as you viewing it, because the brightness is great. It complements the phone very well. And you also have that ceramic 2 shield, or ceramic shield 2 coating on the front, so supposedly it makes it a little bit more durable as far as display. But that goes into my con. Glass is glass. Glass is gonna break, it breaks. So no matter what, you gotta get a tempered glass screen protector. But I'm so used to it now, it's not really even a big deal to me. So with that being said, I think those two kind of wash each other out. All right, the next pro is that it has this new 18 megapixel center stage camera. It's better for taking selfies. So now you can take a landscape and a portrait selfie just with holding it at one angle. You don't have to actually turn the phone in landscape mode to use that feature. So I think that's pretty cool. Do I think most people really care about that? Maybe not. Is it going to apply in some real world scenarios, but is that enough to make someone buy a phone? I'm not too sure. And also the base pro model, as far as the cost, is too close to the max. So they basically kind of wash themselves out as well. It just depends on if you want a bigger phone or not. But it seems like the 17, the base model, is a little bit better. All right, the next pro is that obviously the iPhone is like the #1 phone in the world. You're gonna have tons and tons and tons of case options and accessories for this phone. I've never seen so many companies just basically disregard other phones and just go all in on the iPhone. It seems like they kind of make it seem like that's the only phone that exists. Now, a con is, with all that being said about these new phones and the phone lineup, the software that runs it, iOS 26, it's on every phone. Like, even now to this day, I have iPhone 13 sitting around somewhere, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. They both were updated to iOS 26. It runs just fine. So I'm getting those new features on an older generation of phones. So I'm not really losing out too much when it comes to experiencing a new experience. All right, so our next pro is you get great trade-in value, and that's for pretty much any phone. But you know, when you trade in your phone, I think I checked on Apple's website, if I trade in my 14 Pro Max, I get about $400. And the phone that I would want to get is the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and like the 256 gig version. I don't need the terabyte. It doesn't really bother me much not to have that much storage, but it's fairly reasonable. And if I get $400 off, I mean, that's a pretty decent price, at least in my opinion. But again, a con is that this Apple Intelligence is still not fully up and running for all of the phones. So even a feature that would make me want to get the phone to say, oh, it's exclusive to maybe these newer phones, it's really not. It's still kind of under construction. So it kind of sucks a little bit. And then I have one more con, which is kind of in a field of its own, but you only have 3 colors. And this is just a little bit nitpicky. That's why I didn't put it with anything else, and I understand this is just me being nitpicky, but there are only 3 colors you can choose from. Now, I say that to say also, I like the colors that they did go with, the silver, or looks silver, the blue one, and the orange. I really like the orange. I would probably get like the orange or the blue, but probably the orange because I like kind of standing out a little bit. But the 3 colors they did go with look amazing, but it would be nice to get like a black or matte black, or even a product red. I used to love the product red. All in all, at least my thoughts on the new phone, I'm really interested. I find myself constantly doing research to kind of maybe convince myself or not convince myself to get it. I'm not too sure what I'm trying to do, but that's pretty much the motivation of making this video. I'm trying to make a decision, and I'm not too sure what I want to do because I don't want to waste my money at the end of the day. So I do like the way it looks, but I feel like once I open the box and I say, oh, this phone is so cool, once I slap a case on it and I'm using iOS 26, which I already have access to, I'm hoping I wouldn't regret it. But I don't know. I'm a tech guy. Obviously, this is a gaming and tech channel, so I'm into tech products. So I don't mind, you know, spending here and there for something that I like. But I just, for some reason, I'm having trouble making a decision on this one. So if you guys can let me know down in the comments below what I should do. What do you guys think? What are these pros and cons? Like, do they make sense, or am I just throwing stuff at the wall and trying to see what sticks? Like, I'm truly trying to make a decision. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. I will engage with you guys down there and check out to see what you think. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.